what have you been up to?
They're like, how are you doing?
I'm like, well, I just got out of the psych ward.
And we're just like laughing. We're like eating pizza. We're like, and she's like,
yeah.
Like that's literally her.
She was like, okay, girl, you good? Like, what do you mean?
Or she's like,
Hi guys, just before we get into today's episode, I wanted to give a quick little trigger warning disclaimer that we're starting off with a bit of a bang and we're talking about some really heavy topics. We're gonna be talking about some personal experiences that I've had, including, depression, anxiety, suicide attempts. So if any of those may be triggering to you, just be warned and enjoy the episode.
Welcome
to Brutally Honest, our podcast.
My name's Oliver Blank.
I'm Sabrina.
Been a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months and we've been having this brewing in the background for a while, but it's here. We're here.
I know we have like a lot of people who are younger than us who watch our content and like what we do, and I feel like just helping give guidance. So many
lessons to share with you guys. I've been like hit by a truck, up, down, left, right. Like
sideways, smack up, down.
Smack down.
WWE, UFC.
So,
hook,
I'm just here
hook,
to
right hook.
I'm here to share those experiences with you guys, and hopefully, you guys learn something.
Yeah. Again,
yeah,
everyone's always learning.
Yeah, this
everyone's
is also
always learning.
All like my personal experience stuff that I've been through, and like, Oliver was right there. He saw it all. So again, everyone's story is different. Everyone's experiences are different. I'm just here to give advice. So for those of you that don't know who we are and are like, who are these two people talking? We're going to do cute little quick intros for you.
And I'm going to try to not sound like I'm presenting.
Yeah, every time he does this, we've done this 3 times, and every time he does this, he's like,
sounds like I'm
Oliver
slating
Blank,
for like a tape.
6 foot.
Yeah. I'm from Atlanta. I grew up there for 18 years, and then I moved out here. 2020, I graduated. And I was out here for acting, and I met this lovely lady right here, and we've been friends. Like, she's probably one of the second or third friends that I met in LA. And we'll give you the story time on that. Yeah. For those of you who don't know,
I'm 21 years old. I just turned 21, and I've been loving it.
I feel like not that much has changed.
No, I have this like sense of
freedom.
Like not even freedom.
Like
I've
control.
Always been free. No, more like.
I was gonna say I don't think anything's changed. I feel like you still did what you wanted at 18.
I have it figured out now.
Okay.
The second I turned 21, I was like, I know what to do.
It all just clicked for you.
Yeah, I'm lying, by the way.
Okay.
That was a lie.
I
have nothing figured out. Anyway, I'm 21. I moved here almost 3 years ago. I came here for social media. I started on TikTok, YouTube, the whole thing. And yeah, I have cats. I love my cat. That's a big, if you need to know anything about me, that's pretty much
probably
it. I'm a
top
cat
of the
lady.
Priority list.
Like if you look up crazy cat lady on Google, like there will be a picture of me that pops up. Yeah.
I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, probably.
So in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health, the whole 9 yards, kind of like how to help someone who might be going through something on different spectrums and levels of seriousness.
Let's get into it.
You take the lead on that.
Well, first, why do we have to get like straight into that?
No, we don't have to get serious first. Maybe let's
talk about
intro with like our how social media.
Yeah, like let's talk about social media.
Okay.
And like life.
We'll ease into it.
Yeah.
Don't need to go for the jugular immediately.
No jugular, please.
I think from my point of view, I think entering the acting space and being in that space and then crossing over now, it looks really easy from the outside. You're like, oh, I wake up, post my TikToks, I look hot as shit, everyone loves me, like body yaddy yaddy, and that's it. And like you make hundreds of thousands of dollars and nothing.
You thought my job was body yaddy yaddy?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And it's just like it looks really easy from the outside, and now stepping into it, there's so much.
Disclaimer: it's still pretty easy.
It is. We're not
like I worked 9 to 5s since I was 14
I'm glad
years
you
old.
said that before we got.
Yeah, like no. I've been working 9 to 5 since I was 14.
I would never take
I will say that like it's definitely harder on your mental health, but in retrospect, it's pretty easy. Like I'm so blessed. I do not I worked at Starbucks and Chick-fil-A and I was a hostess. Like I do not take this for granted. I understand like money and like how hard people work to make
what you make in
what
a
I
video.
make. Yeah, it's like crazy.
It's really crazy. I think it's interesting when you step into it because it looks again really easy. Yeah. But then there's so many different struggles and challenges that come with it. Obviously, 9 to 5, way harder. Would never, ever trade this job for what it is. But there's stuff that comes with it that you're just like, holy moly, I was not thinking that it was going to be like this. And I think for me, I think it's more of your life is your job. Like all hours of the day.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Your life is your job. Like all hours of the day, you're working.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think of a funny video concept at like 1 a.m, like you do it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to turn that off. And I think I'll get to that point where I can like, okay, like I need to like brainstorm.
Put your phone away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think as of like now, it's like I'm not used to my phone being lit up every 5 seconds with a new like task to complete, or like something I didn't do right, or like something that needs editing, or like all the above. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll get to the point where I can like, I'm also the type that's like, I want to make everyone happy. And so like, I feel like if I'm like, oh my God, if I don't do this right now, or like get it back to them right now, like I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like kind of my perspective and take on it.
I think it makes it a lot more like it makes it a lot deeper considering I live in LA. Like that, if I was a social media creator and lived in like wherever, anywhere
like
else,
Utah,
literally anywhere
Colorado
else,
mountains.
I think that it would be a lot less like mentally
I just think
draining.
it's
but
also
LA is LA. Like it's pretty crazy here.
You just like add the fact that you see every person that you know.
Yeah, it's like when
you
like this is how I describe it. When I first
high
moved
school.
to LA,
I feel like I'm in high school.
No, when I first moved to LA and like I like started going places and like seeing people, it was literally like scrolling through my For You page in person. Like I would
Basically.
like see a new person, I just like I just swiped in my For You page, and that's literally how it feels here. It's like everything but just in person, and it really
trips me out a little bit. It's more just like if I'm having a really bad day, like mentally, and I really just like my energy's low, like I feel gross, like I haven't showered in like 3 days, and I'm like going to the grocery store to like get a meal, and you see like 8 people you know, and you're just like and then you get in the car and you're like,
what are you doing?
I'm like, I'm like, oh, so everyone just saw me look like yeah. So I think that is like really hard too, especially in the city.
Well, that's why I just don't leave my house.
Yeah. I my thing is like I'm such an extrovert though.
Yeah.
Like I love like 6 out of 7 days of the week I want to talk to people, I want to like do things, I want to like go out, and then there's like that one day where I'm just like I still want to go and do things, I just don't want to talk to anyone. Like I want to go to the grocery store and get groceries, I want to like go get a coffee, I want to like do things peacefully. I am
so content never leaving my apartment
again. You are.
Like truly.
Yeah.
And that
really
sounds really bad. Like
no.
That sounds really bad to other people. But like I am so at peace in my home.
Yeah.
You know? Like I don't need to leave. I can just order things.
Guys, Amazon Prime, Jeff
That's like
Bezos,
so
best
awful.
invention.
I know, but it's just like I love it there. You know, I
do.
can work there. My cats are there. It's so peaceful.
Yeah. I get restless. I have I have really bad spilkies.
Well, if I get restless, I'll move from the bed.
Spilkies.
I'll move from the bed to the couch if I get restless, or from the couch to the kitchen. That's why I wanted to, like, when we started this podcast, I wanted it to be somewhere that we can leave my apartment. Because, like, if we were doing this just, like, us two at home in my apartment, it wouldn't just never, like, I wouldn't
Or
take
it wouldn't
it
get done.
It wouldn't get done. It wouldn't get done because at the end of the day, I could just, like, move over to the couch and put on the Vampire Diaries.
Exactly.
And
which is what we're going to do after this.
Yes, exactly. So it's so nice to actually, like, it's so cool for me because I like structure and I like schedules. It's really cool for me to be like, oh, I have to leave my apartment and go
do something cool.
Go do something. Like, go do work.
And it's in
like,
a safe space with all people you know. You know? And I feel like I love that we're, like, doing this because I feel like we have so many hot takes on, like, everything.
Yeah.
Like literally everything. Like me and you we're very opinionated people, and I just feel like we always like are like
I think you're more opinionated
I'm way
than
more
me.
opinionated
I'm just
than you.
more observant.
Yeah.
Like I just like
oh my God, no, I say whatever.
I like take
I have no
things
filter
in
sometimes.
and I just like
no
store
filter.
it somewhere in my brain.
And you're just like, remember that.
Yeah. That's how I function. I don't speak much, but when I do, I'm like, never mind.
You're just like,
Yeah. I just
but yeah,
store it
so
all
I
in
feel
my
like
brain.
that's why we also kind of love this name, is because we're really honest with each other, and I feel like we're honest with like all of our peeps in our circle, and like
I mean, you guys have literally seen me cry, scream.
Yeah, you haven't seen that from me yet.
Manic, not manic, stable, unstable. You guys have seen me.
You've seen her
literally
her
in every state I could possibly be
level.
in. Yeah.
I feel like also we wanted to bring this podcast and like really talk about mental health. And I feel like
that is very important.
Yeah, it's important. And I feel like you've had like really hard experiences with it, which I'll let her talk about because it's her business. But this city like brings out the best and the worst in you. And I feel like,
yeah, I also feel like there's like a little bit of a stigma about me online.
Oh, okay.
Like there's just been like, I've just been involved in like so much things, and that's why I really like having like a podcast where I can speak freely, and it's like so like it's long, you know, it's a long form video.
You can get more out of it than a 30-second video talking.
Me dance for 15 seconds on TikTok and like trying to base my entire personality off of that. Like this is, you can get to know me, and I don't know.
That's why I love
think
YouTube
awesome.
So much too.
I love YouTube. I mean, you guys know I love YouTube.
I feel like it just like it shows who you really are. It shows your sense of humor. It shows like your day to day. It shows it just shows your life. And I feel like TikTok is really good at like painting a picture of like something that's not you. And I feel like that's another thing that's like really mess with my head and mental health. As I look through like my TikToks, I'm like, wait, like this is
because everyone's very picture perfect on TikTok. Like I don't pull out my phone to film a video when I like get straight out of bed.
No.
But for YouTube I do that.
Yeah.
But on TikTok for some reason I don't do that. I guess maybe because it's like 15 seconds long. So what you see is what you get, literally. If you guys want to watch like video form of this podcast, it is on Past Your Bedtime's YouTube channel, which is awesome because I don't know, I'm a very visual person. So
yeah, I can't like focus. Like if I put a podcast on Spotify, which you can also listen on there, and Apple Music and the stream, the streaming deal. You know the deal. I just can't dial in. I need to like watch people talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you agreeing with me like that?
So first week in LA, I'll paint the picture. First week in LA, you don't really know anybody. Like pre-COVID, this was like when things were just like people were like, like I don't really know what's going on. Like
let me just move to LA.
Yeah, like schools will be back in 2 weeks, but like if you graduated, like go get it. Like you know the spiel. But yeah, I remember my first week here. We had a mutual friend, Anna. Like I cannot believe I've known Anna. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Anna was like, hey, like I'm having this little, I think it was a friend's birthday or something at my house, like come, whatever. So I went, and at these LA parties, you know how it is everyone has their groups. Everyone is comfortable with their pods of 5 and 6.
Yeah, it's very cliquey.
Very cliquey. And I remember you were just kind of off in the corner doing your own thing.
Typical.
And I was kind of off doing the same thing as well, because I feel like we both like didn't really know anybody. Like outside of like Anna, like we knew people, but like we didn't know them like that.
No, I had like one friend and like my boyfriend.
Yeah. So I remember I went up to her and I was like, my go-to for conversation starters is just talking about hot men. So I literally was like, that guy over there is so hot. Like, wow, like so hot, so hot. And Sabrina was like, yeah, like that's my boyfriend. And I was like, great job. Great work. Proud of you.
He said, he looked at me and goes, great work.
Great work.
And I was like, thank you.
And we kind of just like, I feel like we just like felt very comfortable with each other after that. And like, we were just like talking and like our experience of like being in LA for the first like week. And I remember I'm like a very protective person, and it's like the Leo in me. Like if I met you like an hour ago, like I'm loyal. So I feel like I was like, she's like, okay, like I'm just gonna Uber home because your car wasn't here yet, I think. And I was like, I'll drive you home. So I remember I literally drove her home that night. It's kind of crazy that you trusted.
Yeah, what?
Like a
that's
literal,
like really crazy.
Yeah, like that's crazy on your part.
You could have kidnapped me.
Easily.
You just could have sold me. No one would have ever heard from me again.
No, literally. Because like,
but that didn't happen.
No, it didn't. She made it home safe that night, and we've been together ever since. Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Where did I live at the time? Was I in the Constant house?
You were like floating around the houses.
Wow. Yeah, I was totally like couch hopping.
You were like at Clubhouse for a week, and then they were like, no, we'll move you into. And
then I literally lived with Cooper for like 2 weeks, and then I went. Anyway.
What a time.
I was one of those.
A time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know. I'll talk about my kind of experience with social media and how it's affected my mental health, and then I'll let you take the lead on yours. But I think go for it. Woo! I actually just left an event before this, and I was talking to someone about it. And I was saying social media used to be so fun for me. Like I used to be excited to make things. I used to be excited to like create and like have fun with it. And like I think over the past like year, like people on the internet have just gotten way more aggressive. Like stan accounts have become like ruthless, and I think it's just like sucked the fun out of it because you have to watch everything you do 18 different times to make sure you don't piss off like any specific group of category of like 80 different people. And I think that sucked the fun out of it. Obviously, like if you do something wrong, be held accountable and like learn from your lessons. But I feel like a lot of the time it's just people wanting to like poke and prod.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's affected how I view it and how I have fun with it. Yeah, I feel like it's just tough. And I think for a while I like wasn't really comfortable like within myself to like become a content creator and like post on social media. I remember I used to like look down at it for the longest time and be like, oh, like I'm actor, like I don't do this. And then I realized like all the spaces cross over so much. Like acting crosses into social media now, and like modeling crosses into this, and like they all play into each other. And I feel like after I got over that, it was fun for a minute, and then you just start comparing yourself to everybody. That's how my experience has been. I feel like I like will scroll my For You page.
That'll go away.
I know.
I don't compare myself to anybody now.
I know. I need to like get to that point, but I feel like
I totally get it though. I was
Yeah.
like that for like a year.
Like I'll scroll and I'm like, wait, like that outfit is so cute on them, and I'll like go and try to recreate it, and I'm like burning my closet down and like literally going to the gym 18 times today. And that's what I feel like TikTok has done to me. And now I feel like I'm finding myself and I'm finding my way back of like just being happy with the people I'm surrounded with and like the people who like care about me and love me. And I feel like that's what actually matters in this life. And I feel like so many things have happened in like my life and your life that has like brought us back to like planet Earth. Like I feel like for a while, like we were in such la la land of like, we were like you like rent was paid, you post a video, rent's paid, like I can do it. Like it was like, it was, you know, like we weren't like actually like dialed in. And then I think,
while I was living in the content house, I was literally delusional.
Correct.
Because I mean, I totally like lost my sense of reality because, to be fair, I'm like living in a mansion in Beverly Hills with like 6 other girls, and they're like, well, you know, we're posting all these videos. I didn't really even understand it, and like our rent was just getting paid. So I totally lost my sense of direction, my sense of reality, like everything. I was like, la 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 la, like whatever.
And then I feel like
once I started, you know, living on my own, I was like, oh,
yeah, there's real big girl activities. No,
like
that
big
have
girl,
to be,
I gotta
like,
put my big girl pants on. Like let's get to work.
Because it's just like, I think I talk about this a lot too, is like the amount of people perceiving you really don't think about. Like
no, like if you I don't
like
I
our
don't
karaoke
like
our karaoke video like has like 9 million views, and the thought of like a small country has seen my face and like watched me like sing terribly. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't bother me. I think it's hilarious. It's just like, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And like I feel like we like are really good about just like pretending like that's not the case. Like I like to like think nobody like what, like I like to post like unironically like, oh, like no one's gonna see this.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's stressful and scary.
Yeah.
I feel like viewers who watch the like videos at home, like the vibe that comes off is like, woo, like so fun, like this was awesome, like love this, you know. And then I feel like from the insider perspective is like, you probably don't even remember making that video.
No, I have been dissociated for the past 2 years of my life.
I really, now that you say that, like I
have
really
not been on planet Earth.
I really cannot remember like what
sorry,
outside of like obviously like going to auditions and stuff, like I really don't remember like major.
I don't remember that either. I don't remember anything.
I just like don't remember major components of my life.
It's actually
which is kind of
really
sad,
crazy.
but like I feel like I'm like starting to dial back in.
No, I don't. I mean, I also have like severe trauma and like PTSD, so
Literally.
I literally have really bad memory loss, like really bad. I never know what's going on to like.
Well, that's like my thing with like depression is like I didn't even realize like when you have a level of depression like that's so high, you start to like, well, one, you disassociate, and like two, you just don't remember things.
Yeah.
Because you just don't. And I've talked about this with my therapist so many times of like, I'm like, I get really bad anxiety because I'm like, I really can't remember what I've done for the past 2 years. And she's like, that's like a sign of like when you have really bad depression, like you just don't you're just not dialed in.
Yeah. I mean, like, I have...
You go into autopilot.
Literally,
like, you literally
so
go into
many
autopilot.
people, sorry, I keep hitting the mic. A lot of, like, the close people in my life know that, like, I'm going to keep telling you the same story over and over again, or I'm going to, like, bring shit up over and over again. You just have to pretend like you're hearing the story for the first time, because I honestly don't remember telling you.
Yeah.
And, like, I just don't remember, really, the last 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like, it's really crazy. So, I mean, I remember really key parts of it. And it's just, like, my body trying to cope and, like, protect me. So it just blocks out, like, all these, like, really intense things that have happened to me. But while it's blocking out these really intense things, it's also blocking out, like, just everyday things.
Even the fun stuff, too, which is sad, you know?
No,
like, there's definitely
sad.
things that I've, like, had fun, like, fun days. But it's, like, the rest of the week wasn't fun, so I don't even remember the one fun day I had.
So I have a life coach now, and, you know, she has me journaling every day. I play brain games, like, on my phone.
I
like,
love that.
Mind games. And I just, like, try to kind of, like, tune my brain back in and, like, you know, do, like, actual complex games to get it to, like, snap back into reality, because most of the time I'm literally in La La Land.
I, like, need to start journaling, because, like, I have, like, really, even, like, fun ideas and stuff that I'm like, oh, like, that'd be cool to do, or, oh, that'd be fun to do, and, like, I wake up the next morning, I'm like, what was I thinking about before I went to bed? Like,
journaling is, like, it's, like, awesome, but at the same time, I'll read my journals back, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, damn.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's, like, the good of it all, though, is, like, there's the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Life would not be life without the good and the bad.
I agree. Oh my gosh, should we tell them about my tree? What was it? My tree metaphor?
It was, I'm like a tree, rain or shine, I'm always growing.
Oh, yes, that was
it. Because, like,
so
raining, you're
real.
growing. When the sun's shining, the leaves are growing. Like, good days, bad days, you're growing.
That
as
was
a person.
it.
I remember it because I love that quote. Wow. What was I going to say? Yeah, no, but I feel like there's a stigma around, like, talking about mental health when it evolves to...
Yeah, totally. Like, when shit gets serious? Everyone's like, hands are up, you know, white flag, like,
one, like,
get away
quote
from me.
that's, like, stuck with me from Emma's podcast, not Emma Brooks, Emma Chamberlain, is she was saying, like...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, is, like, mental health people want to talk about when it's not going on in the real time. Like,
totally. I saw that.
I know, and it's, like, so real, because it's like, if you have past, like, like she was saying, like, if you have past depression, if you have past, like, issues, past attempts, past anything, people are like, let's, like, talk about it. Like, I'd love to, like, sympathize with you and get to know about it. And then as soon as it's, like, in the moment happening, she's like, people run for the hills.
100%.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so, like, it's accurate. I feel like people, it just becomes such a stigmatized thing of, like, I'm just speaking words sometimes. I don't even know if that was the right word. Whatever. It becomes such, like,
stigma,
it becomes such, like, this taboo thing of, like, when it's happening real time, people, like, don't want to, like, talk about it, or, like, don't know how to deal with it.
It's also, like, so romanticized. Like, it is so romantic. Like, being depressed is, like, so cool
Even
now.
I do it sometimes of, like, I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to, like, go home and put on my Lana Del Rey and, like, like, rot in my bed and, like,
so lame.
look like I've, like, have baggy eyes and, like, take a little, like, sad selfie.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes I'm like, wait, that sounds like fun.
It's not.
But it's not.
It's not fun. No, yeah, it's like when it's like depression or even anxiety, I think now it's like all like haha fun and games. People like it.
Yeah.
Like, people like talking about it. It's weird. But then when it's like the word suicide is even brought up in a conversation, everyone's like, oh, I gotta go. I had an attempt earlier this year in like
January.
It's January 9th. Yes. And it was really, really crazy because I got to see like how before I actually went through it, I think there's just like this whole, let's talk about mental health. I love mental health, like shouting it at the top of the hills. Mm-hmm. And then when it actually happened, I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And people handled it in such an insane way. And it was so eye-opening. You got to see
like every angle of like 100%, everything.
Because I saw like my family's like
perspective,
view,
yeah.
Like, my friends, like yours, it was just crazy. Mine, yeah. Like I saw my own point of view because I was like, oh my God. It was like literally the most eye-opening experience for me. But I also think that nobody talks about it. So I kind of understand like why you wouldn't know how to handle that.
Well, like I feel
nobody talks about it.
I feel like for me, like when it all went down and like I had this like, oh, I know exactly like, how to like handle it. Like I know like what to do. Like I know like how to help you and like what you need. And then like you just learn it. It's like most of the time it's not that. But it's also like there's nobody really talking about from like a friend or like a family perspective of like what you can do to like help, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like the biggest like advice that I can like give and that I learned like during that time was just to like listen. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I feel like you want to like help, you want to put in your perspective, you want to put in your point of view on like how they can get better and what they should be doing now and like what they can and can't do and like boundaries and stuff. But it's like you can like obviously like yell at them a month later and be like, girl, you scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, sorry.
But but like in the beginning, just be there and like be a hand that you can hold out, that they can like hold and walk through, because they're scared too. Like they really don't know. Like they're like, so it's so traumatizing.
Yeah,
like,
I was tuned out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like, and when I say tuned out, I don't mean like, oh, I'm dissociating. No, I was like literally
you're like
not.
black.
I was
no.
yes. I was,
like if there's a level
out.
above like like that's where you were
that's
at.
where I was.
So I feel like you have to just like listen to what they need in that time and be as helpful as you can. I feel like that's the biggest advice I give, or I have. Sorry. As like a friend from that outside perspective, but like what do you think as like a person who's gone?
I agree. I think just like listening, because for me when I got out of the psych ward, sorry, it's not funny, I just like the word.
Wait, we should tell them. No,
it's just,
so before like we like laugh and talk about all this stuff, we have a friend, Kenzie.
And
we always say the most like crazy things that have happened in our life with like a smile on our face and like a cackle, and that's just how we are.
I'm like giggling like I'm doing right now,
because it makes it fun, like, or not fun. Bad word. It makes it fun.
It wasn't fun.
It makes it like light. It lightens the mood, and it's like that's just how we deal.
Like I just personally like I laugh when I'm uncomfortable, and like I don't. Yeah.
We just laugh when we're uncomfortable, and I feel like when we were like met Kenzie and stuff, and she was like,
"What have you been up to?"
They're like, "How are you doing?"
I'm like, "Well, I just got out of the psych ward."
And we're just like laughing, and we're like eating pizza. We're like, and she's like,
"Yeah."
Like that's literally her.
She was like, "Okay, girl, you good? Like, what do you mean?"
Or she's like, like there's a loss for words from like other people, and like for us, we're just like.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down.
I think that's our coping mechanism to lighten the mood, but continue.
Also,
with
for
what
some
you were
reason,
saying.
I just feel like the word, like the phrase psych ward is so aggressive. So like, I don't know.
Mental hospital.
Yeah.
That's not much better. God, we should not be laughing, but that's just how we cope, guys.
I can laugh about it. I was in there. Yeah, when I was in the, what were we talking about?
You were talking about.
Oh right, when I got out of the mental hospital. So I was in the actual hospital for like
like 20, not even like 24 hours.
Yeah,
probably less.
No, more than. I got in at 7 a.m. I left at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was in the hospital.
Did you say more than, babe?
More than 24 hours.
If you got there at
wait.
No, babe, math. If you got there at 7 a.m.
So then like
18 hours.
18 hours. Okay, yeah. So I was in there for like a day. A day.
I know.
I'm rounding up. And then I was in the mental hospital for like 4 days. You know, for some reason, I don't think I had like processed like what that meant, you know, like what all of that meant. I don't know. I just kind of want, in my head, in a perfect world, I wanted to just get out and be like, okay, like, can we just go back to normal? I'm really sorry about that. But like, that wasn't going to happen. So when I got out and like everyone was really mad at me, I remember everyone was just so angry with me. I was already dealing with a lot of anger like within myself. So when everybody else was angry at me when I got out, I was like, quite literally saved my life. Like she moved here, quit her job the second that she found out about my attempt, flew overnight here, and she moved in with me for 2 months.
Yeah.
And she literally just like babied me and took care of me.
That was a really good 2 months.
Yeah, she was, because like she, every time I would start getting bad again, she'd just be like, nope, we're not doing that. Like,
so like, what do you think from like your point of view and perspective, like that you would give to other, like I know I said like my advice from outsider perspective and view, like what do you think from like,
well, first of all, I will say that it solves absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like just, you know, I'm not gonna lie, it just made it worse. Personally, from in like my own experience, I think it showed me a lot of things, and it was a big wake up call. But I don't know. I was just in such a bad place because I felt very misunderstood, and like I didn't know how to communicate with other people or like be like, hey, yo, like I really need some help. You know, like I'm not okay. And that completely just ruined me because I really, really needed help. And if I would have just said that to anybody, like, then that probably wouldn't have happened, you know? But I didn't do that because I tend to just store things inside of me and just be like, I just like some really bad things like really bad things have happened over the past year in my life, and I just, instead of dealing with them, it is so much easier for me to just be like, no, that didn't happen. Like, no, that's fine. It's fine. Nothing happened. So.
Yeah. I feel like that's where we help each other out a lot. I feel like I'm a very big communicator. Like I'm very like I'm always just texting. I'm a texter. Like I'll text her. I'll text her like 40 times a day, and she'll text me back like twice. I just know that's how she is. But I feel like
my phone stresses me out.
No, I know. But I feel like the communication. I feel like I like love to like. I'm like when like something's like if like we get into a fight or like if something's like off, I'm like.
Yeah, pisses me off.
I'm like,
I'm literally like, get away from me. Like,
I'm like, we gotta talk about it, and you're like, no.
No, I literally will be like, no, and I will just sit next to him.
I'll
like,
finally
pull
it out of her. I do.
Whatever.
I've done it every time.
So annoying.
It just takes like 2 weeks.
It's so annoying. It takes like 2 weeks. Literally. You get one word out a day. Like literally, I'm like trying to like form the sentences day by day. I get like happy. I don't. Angry. Like. And then I'm like, by the end of the 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what happened. Or, okay, she's feeling that way. Yeah. Maybe we'll get to like a sentence a week instead of every 2 weeks. What do you know your big three? I'm a Pisces, and then I'm a Leo Libra something. Like a Leo something, Libra something.
Okay.
I think I'm a Leo rising.
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
I'm Leo rising. That's my name. No. Sorry. My Leo's in sun.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, no. Ew. My Leo's sun, Aries rising, Virgo moon.
I think I'm a Pisces Virgo. And then Leo rising, and then yes, that's right.
Do you know anything about your signs?
No.
Oh, I know all about mine.
You know what? I don't know anything. I'm just gonna.
Or maybe you're lying to yourself.
No.
Okay. So do you have any other experiences to share during your time
away?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was crazy. So for some context, when I had my attempt, I didn't really know what was going on. I think like I was very manic. I was just really not okay. And I didn't like gain consciousness or like realize what was going on until I was in the mental hospital.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the psych ward, I woke up in there and I was like, I didn't know what was going on. So I'm looking around. There's like white walls. I was in a straitjacket. So yeah, you can imagine where my mind went. I literally was like, what did I do? Yeah. I was like, what did I do? Like my mind was going a million different places. Literally, I was like, what did I do? Yeah. What did I do? And then, they told me that I had attempted, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, makes sense. So I just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. And there was literally nothing I could do. I was in there for 4 days, and I was like, okay.
You should tell the Diet Coke story.
No, actually, I first want to tell them about my phone privileges.
Oh, okay.
So I think that I was still pretty delusional, but like once I started to realize like I was not going anywhere, I had to power through it. I started to like talk to the nurses and just
like, hey bestie,
like how are you today? And I guess they really liked me, and they gave me...
Well, you were probably on, like, the lower spectrum of what was going on in there.
Yeah, totally. There was, like, bigger problems to deal with than, like, my 5'3" ass. So I was, like, just chatting it up with the nurses, and they would, like, give me, like, more phone privileges. They were just like, yeah, you can make a phone call if you want. And I was like, okay. So I'm, like, calling Oliver every 10 minutes. And
I started school, while this was going on, like, first day of class.
Yeah, I guess like at some point during like my whole like I don't know those 24 hours, I like wrote down 3 numbers on my hand. So I had like smuggled Oliver's number in.
No, she'd call me like so the first time she called me, I was like, okay, like, they get like I like remember hearing or I just like know from like other experiences that like you get like a phone call, you get to like talk to people, and then you're done for the day. The phone goes away. You don't get the phone again. One-time phone. That was not the case with you. I remember I stepped out of class and I was like, oh, like, what's going on? Like, how we feeling? Like, how we doing? Whatever. And you're like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm bored. Like, I want to go home. Like, I'm out. And I was like, well, like, that's not how it works.
I was also very heavily medicated, but I was just like, hey. What you up to?
And then I'd be like, what's up? And so then I would be like, hey, I have to go back to class. Like, love you. Like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Talk to her 2 hours later. She's like, hey again. And I'm like, hey, hi. How did you get that phone, babe? How do you have the phone again? She's like, they love me here.
You know, that was very nice.
Yeah.
I think they kind of liked me there. I was
like, they're not just handing out Diet Cokes on the psych
I
ward.
was like, you know, minding my own business. And then I was talking to one of the nurses. There was this one nurse who was like the sweetest lady. And she was just like, she really got me through that. Because I'm honestly talking about this like it was all like rainbows and butterflies. It was an extremely traumatizing experience. Not okay. And you know, the whole point, I think, of a psych ward, in my own experience, is like to scare the shit out of you just so that you don't want to go back there and like end up there again. And it worked. So yeah, it's just really not cool. But this was cool in retrospect. I was like, you know, hanging out and they asked me if I wanted a drink. And I was like, can I get a Diet Coke maybe? And they gave me a Diet Coke. And like they walk into my room, like hand it to me, and I just start bawling my eyes out, like just sobbing, bawling my eyes out. I was like so delusional. I was like so stressed out and just so upset. And like this Diet Coke meant like hope to me. It's like,
that's crazy.
It was like the light at the end of the tunnel for me. And I was like, yeah,
we made it.
I made it. I was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be okay.
You're like a normal,
and I rationed it.
Thing,
I rationed it.
Thing.
They like put it in the fridge for me.
Stop.
And
You're
like
probably taking
every
sips,
couple
like,
of
every
hours, I'd
hours.
be like, can I get a little?
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I know this episode was very hectic and heavy and
yes, it I know that I say all of this with like a smile on my face, and you guys are probably gonna listen to this and be like, ooh.
They sound really crazy and out of touch,
but it was.
We know how serious it is.
Yes,
we know,
it was
like,
very eye-opening.
These things
for me.
are really sad, and
I think that after my attempt, I was like, okay, like I need to
redial it.
I need to figure it out. I was like,
Yeah.
what are the things in my life that are making me feel this way? And I just started like changing shit, and I was like, I can't do this anymore, because like being in denial of everything that had happened to me in the past year, like literally almost killed me. And I was like, I can't do this, especially after seeing the way it affected my family and like my mother. And I was just like, this is
a lot.
This is just too much. And I'm only 21 years old, so I cannot live my life like this.
No.
And it was a blessing in disguise, but it was really up.
What a very heavy episode.
Not really. I think that we did it in a way where
I know.
You know, I could have sat here and cried.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been
No,
fun
I'm saying,
for you
I
guys
feel
to
like
watch.
what a substanced episode.
Yeah,
like,
there was a lot.
so much that we talked about.
I mean,
and
hopefully
covered.
you guys learned something from it, and I just want.
I think that's the biggest goal with this podcast is like for us to like share our experiences and like if any way, in some way that it helps you with your experiences and like with life. And like I know we have like a lot of people who are younger than us who watch our content and like what we do, and I feel like just helping
so
give
many
guidance.
lessons to share with you guys. I've been like hit by a truck, up, down, left, right, like
sideways,
I have
smack up, down,
smack down,
WWE, UFC.
So
hook,
you know,
hook,
I'm just
left
here
hook,
to.
right hook.
I'm here to share those experiences with you guys, and hopefully, you know, you guys learn something.
Yeah, we already shot the second episode, and that one is a
effort.
lot more like
funny.
Wow!
Yeah, it's that one's
So
more
that one's
lighthearted.
funny.
There's no Diet Cokes in any psych wards in that episode.
That one is pure fun. So I'm excited for you guys to watch that. But if you want to watch the video format of this episode, you can watch it on the Past Your Bedtime YouTube channel, and then for the audio, listen on all streaming services.
Yep. And I love you guys so much. And
me too.
My biggest advice I could give you is that if you're struggling, just like, you know,
ask for help.
Because communicate, because you know, the psych ward might have sounded nice, but it wasn't.
You might think no one's listening, but like people are listening.
People are listening. People love you, and I love you.
And to add on to that, if there's any like questions, anything we talked about in today's episode, I know I check my DMs. I know you hate to.
My DMs are scary.
Yeah. DM
but
me.
I will. I'll
DM
check
me,
them after
DM
this
us,
episode.
and like tell us like your experiences. Like I love to learn from others, and tell us if there was something that like we touched on that we misrepresented, or that like you have advice of your own to give us. Because I feel like again, give advice and also ask us. We have some struggling with what we want to talk about sometimes. We have a lot to talk about. It's hard to just narrow it down.
Yeah, so
if you guys have like anything that like
talk about.
You've seen in like our old videos or like her old videos that she's like, I want to know more about that, DM us and we'll tap in. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. I can't wait for you guys to see this episode, and thanks for joining us for the first one of many. Yay! Out of here. Oh,
real quick, sorry, I forgot something.
We're back. Sorry.
We are making an Instagram where we kind of do like very like photo dump type of content, but it's really cute if I do say so myself. So you should make sure to go follow it. It is Brutally Honest Pod, but the O in the pod is a 0. Couldn't get that username, so hopefully we change that soon. We'll keep you updated.
Okay, now we're done.
Now we're done.
Thank
Bye.
you.